Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? It is Tuesday. It is 10:30. So welcome to Tuesday Talks at 10:30. I'm evidential medium Stacy Niedenthal, and every Tuesday we come together and we talk about things that maybe you're not always comfortable in talking to others about. And it's grief and it's meditation and it's coming back home. It's allowing yourself to feel safe in an area where you can question the things that seem like I shouldn't question them. I shouldn't even be asking about them. And this is that time that we sit and we question it. We take a deep dive into different topics. And this past month, we've been talking about things like focus and spiritual studies, because spring shows that we're leaving something behind and we're blossoming into something else. So if you have questions, if you have ever thought about what is all the, what do I do? How do I do this? Why are people getting so connected and changing who they are? And here's the thing about awakening, about being the best you that you can be. You don't have to change who you are. You're just navigating the situations that you have so that you can present the best person that you are instead of being what the world wants you to be. So, for those of you who this is the first time you're joining, I'm evidential medium Stacy Niedenthal, and I've been practicing medium for over 11 years. I've written a couple of books, and I do mediumship readings. I'm actually in Bel Air, Maryland right now. We did a unbelievably awesome reading last night with 10 participants, and oh my goodness, the messages that came through were amazing. Um, if you're ever interested in scheduling, you know how to get a hold of me. So here's what I wanted to do. So Friday night, I had a group, and last night I had a group. And I always ask in the beginning, is there anyone here who's never had a reading? And there were more hands that went up this time than normal. And I'm not just asking if you've ever had a reading with me, just in general, have you ever had a reading? And I get a lot of questions a lot of the time. What is a reading? What do you mean, a reading? So I thought today would be a good day. It's the last day of March, the last Tuesday of the month. We've talked about focus and rebirth and meditation and spiritual studies. So I thought today that maybe we would take the time to talk about what to expect in a reading. How do you find a medium? And I try not to be, I don't want to be that person that says, oh, the only medium that you can go to is me, because I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. You may go to different mediums and hear the exact same thing. That's because maybe you're not paying attention to what you should be doing. So, what I wanted to do is just talk about, what do you expect? What can I expect? If you've never had a reading, what can you expect during a reading? So, mediums receive their information a couple different ways. They actually hear it, they feel it, they sense it. Third eye, they just know. They may taste or smell something. I mainly just, I know that I know that I know. Sometimes I audibly hear, sometimes I hear and hear. I do sense and feel things. I can feel the energy and the spirit that's around me. And but all mediums don't work the same way. So try not to get hung up on, well, I went to a medium and she did it this way, and I went to another medium and he did it this way. Which way is right? They're all right if you are receiving the message that you need to receive to help yourself heal. When I say evidential medium, what I want to explain to you is that there we go. So, evidential medium is just that. They offer you evidence of your loved one. Well, what does that mean, Stacy? Evidence is not vague info. So we've all been or have seen mediums that will say, oh, I have a grandmother here. Oh, she's a lovely woman. She loves you very much and she wants you to know she's okay. Thank you so much for allowing me to bring your grandmother through. Well, that told you nothing. And what if your grandmother wasn't a lovely person? Um, what if we were distant and she didn't love me very much? Or I didn't feel the love? So there's a difference in all of that that poses questions and allows people to be very skeptical. And I get it. I get it. Why not be skeptical? You have no idea who this person could be. Just wanted to see if there were any comments. Good morning. So I just kind of want to give you some ideas of where you can go, what you can do, how you can figure out a good way to see the right medium. One surefire way is ask family and friends. I've gone to a meeting. Oh, what was it like? Who was it? Did they give you information that helped you? Do your research. Go on Google, look at their website, look at their reviews, and see what people are saying about them. Do they offer you evidence? Or is it just, when you ask your family or your friends, well, what did they tell you? Oh, well, they brought mom through and they said about how lovely she was and family oriented she was and that she loved Christmas. But did she tell you anything, or he tell you anything in particular that stood out? Hmm. Well, I mean, that was kind of mom's personality. What an evidential medium is, they will say something to you that you undoubtedly know this is who they say they are. Maybe they'll give you their first name. And let me tell you, names are difficult. I so envy the mediums that, whoop, and they can just get the name, or the name comes to them. Um, if you're getting the name and it's wrong, then sometimes it throws off the whole reading. But allow them to offer you information. Try not to stump the medium. Well, you said this, and this, and it made sense. But if this was really who they said it was, they would have come through with a nickname. Okay. So there's no guarantee of the message that you will receive, because guess what? Spirit gives you what you need, not necessarily what you think you need. When my mother first passed and I went to a medium, she kept talking about a father figure. And my father's still alive. But then my daughter said, Dad's dad? And then it all made sense. But I was so laser focused on wanting my mother to come through that nothing else hit. I was closed. Some mediums may ask you to bring an object with you, whether it's a piece of jewelry, a photo, and they use what's called psychometry, where they pick up the energy from them. There's nothing wrong with that. When my clients say to me, should I bring something with me? I will say to them, if you want to. If I have an issue trying to bring your loved one through that you want to come through, I can try to bring them through with that. Know that there are never any guarantees of who's going to come through. Spirit has their own agenda. What I would say to you is, before you go to a reading, ask your loved ones, show up, talk to them during the day, sense them. Mom, I really need you to come through. So what you may expect and what you may receive could be two different things. It doesn't mean that it is a good or bad reading. How did it feel for you emotionally will give you your information. So if you've ever been naturally curious about what to expect during a reading, what I would say to you is to be as open as you can. Allow yourself to feel into it, I would record the session, because sometimes when you listen to it later, it makes more sense. So we're all naturally curious, but it can also make you nervous. And there's a process that the medium goes through that should help to ease your nervousness. Not always, because you have no idea who this medium is, but you're hoping that, everything goes the way that I need it to be. I find that most people are nervous because it's hard to be vulnerable in front of someone that you don't know. Allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. Again, be open to what is being said to you to naturally receive it. So, when you go into a reading, how it generally starts is should be a calm environment that you're walking into. If you're at a psychic fair, it might be a little noisy around, but where the medium takes you, where the psychic takes you, should be kind of relaxing. And it could be in person or online. And I've had several clients say to me, is there a difference? Is it better in person, or is it better on Zoom and online? It's kind of the same. The readings come through the same. Sometimes personal feels more personal, but Zoom readings work just as well. They may have words or phrases that they say. So when mediums receive messages, there are signs and symbols that spirit gives to me that allows me to know what's being said. And I have learned these signs and symbols over the many years that I have facilitated readings. So let's say spirit hands me a red rose, but the red rose comes around from behind to me. It lets me know there is an anniversary or a birthday that either just happened or is coming up. Now we're in March. So if someone says, oh, yeah, my birthday was in December, that's not what they're talking about. It just happened. And I usually give it 2 weeks either way. Either happened 2 weeks ago or it's happening in 2 weeks. Oh, my birthday is the beginning of April. Bingo. So I will get signs and images and symbols in my third eye. Do I actually see spirit? Sometimes, but it's here. There are feelings and emotions that come through. So the medium who is giving you the message may feel warm, may feel a pain in their chest that says, oh, there must have been, it feels like there was a fever that was brought on and a heart attack happened. Does that resonate? So these are part of the evidence that mediums should give to you. Memories will come up and they will surface unexpectedly. Trying to think of a memory that came up for someone recently. Isn't that awful? So many readings that I do. Well, it's sometimes it's like, oh, you're thinking about moving and you were just looking at some houses, um, and your father is showing me the old house that you grew up in. Then you might go, oh my God, I was just looking at this house that reminded me of the house I grew up in. So it's letting you know that spirit was with you at that time. Messages are going to be personal to you. They may not mean something to anyone else, but it's the relationship that you have with your spirit friend. And an evidential medium will give you those specific details, and they will help validate the messages from spirit by giving you something that you absolutely and positively cannot go, maybe not. And when I sit in a reading with someone, especially if it's a group reading, and everybody in that group came to receive a message. So no matter what I may say, there's usually someone that says, oh, I can take all of that. Okay, tell me what you can take. Well, it wasn't my mother, it was my father. And it wasn't January, it was in February. And it wasn't their heart, it was lung cancer. I'm very, very sorry, but I am not with you then, because these things, Spirit gives these to me for a reason. The medium will give you an introduction of how they work. They will set an intention. They will talk to you about images that they receive mentally. And I catch myself saying several times a month, oh, I just wish you could see what I'm seeing. How do I describe this? Okay, so here's what I'm seeing. And it ages me sometimes. I was doing a reading the other night, and there was this little old man with a bow tie. He didn't really connect with anybody there for me to bring him forward, but he was there. And when I went to the one woman to bring something else through, this little old man in the bow tie all of a sudden was beaming and smiling, but he wasn't telling me who he was, how he passed, and who he connected with. So I wanted to validate this little old man that was there. So I said to the woman after I did the reading, listen, I don't know if he connects with you, but do you know um, like a Fred Mertz looking guy with a bow tie? He's not saying anything, he's just smiling at you. And then I thought to myself, well, my husband reminded me, oh, you just kind of aged yourself. Maybe everybody doesn't know who Fred Mertz is. So this spirit, this energy was in the room with me, but nobody could take him. And he really wasn't saying anything. He was just observing. I don't know why, but that's fine. Maybe a couple weeks down the road, one of those attendees will say to me, you know what? I was talking to my mom and her dad, who I never met, or her grandfather, and it may connect. So, images, pictures, things in your mind. I see flashes from time to time out of the corner of my eye, and they represent messages and meanings. If you ever come to a reading with me and there's a gallery reading, sometimes a couple of spirits will force their way in, and you may see me go one at a time. Hold on, and I'll come back to it, and I'll validate this person, but I can't control who's going to come through and what they're going to say to you. In my opinion, no medium can. I can control how many energies are going to come in by going, stay in my waiting room for a second. So spirit will communicate through emotional impressions that are going to resonate with me, bring a memory to me about something, because I have a memory Rolodex. And when I explain it to you, it's going to make sense in one way or another. And maybe every time I see my Uncle Glenn, let's say, it lets me know this is an uncle figure coming in, or this was a World War II vet, depending on what he's wearing when he comes in. So the role of the medium is to offer to you the most loving and healing messages possible that is given to them by spirit. This may not make sense to the medium. Their goal is to connect, to focus on the thoughts, and to offer you what they're hearing, not to embellish it. So if a medium starts to embellish, and what I mean by that is like the information that I gave you a minute ago where, oh, I think that was mine. It wasn't my father, it was my mother, it wasn't this, it was this. A medium who embellishes may say, oh yes, that's what I meant. That's not what you meant. You said father, you said heart, you said this, but you really meant mother and lungs and this. Mm-mm. And I will straightforward say to my client, this is not for you. I'm not with you, because I will get a chill or a vibration that lets me know. So for you to have the best possible reading, you go in open, focusing on your loved ones, but not so focused on one loved one that you don't receive the message from them. If you have questions, ask. Don't stump the medium. you know. If the medium gives you a lot of different information that makes sense with you, and they say, is there any questions or anything that I have not offered to you? To me, what that means is, did I bring a message through to you that you need more information on? It doesn't mean, well, what's my nickname? Well, if that was important, Spirit would have said that. So find a trustworthy medium by asking around. And it can be very overwhelming, but research them. If they do lives, haha, um, watch their Tuesday talks at 10:30. But no, if they do lives, look at their lives, look at their reviews. If you Google their name and you find nothing about them, that should tell you something. It really should. Authentic mediums, those with integrity, will give you specific details and won't be vague. There's no way to know if the medium is real unless you sit in front of them and you experience it. And they offer you information that is undeniable. To me, there are ethics that your autonomy, your emotions, and the timing of your reading is important. So if you come to me heavy in grief, let's say your loved one just passed a couple of days ago, and by some luck, I happen to have an appointment open, and you come in and you're so stuck in grief that your loved one comes in but doesn't give you a whole lot of information. It's not the right time. So I may say to you, I'm really sorry. I think we need to reschedule at a later date. And I'll offer that reading at no charge. It doesn't happen often. Some people will call me and say, how long should I wait until after my loved one has passed? There are people who are ready the week after because their loved one has been sick for a while and they've already gone through the mourning process for a while. There are people who lost their loved ones 15 years ago and still aren't ready. I always say, if you feel the nudge, set up the appointment with an experienced medium that is ethical, and they will help walk you through it. Sometimes readings are 45 minutes, sometimes they're an hour and 15 minutes. Spirit delegates how fast or how slow things come through. And if I feel like you need me to slow down, I may pause and say, are you okay? Do you want me to continue? Because this is all about your healing process. When you see a medium, it doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to be healed. But you may get that breath of fresh air where you're like, okay, I can breathe a little bit better now. A medium should make you feel safe and supported. You should feel comfortable in the environment that you're in. You should feel validated and never judged, never manipulated. You are there to receive a message from loved ones, but know that the medium is there and their main goal is to deliver a message from spirit. Yes, they want to help you through the healing process, but job one is giving the message the correct way. It's not jumping through hoops for the client. So there's a transparency of how you work. And I will explain that to my clients when they come in. I try to be passionate and patient. And I focus on the connection and the healing, not the performance. So just like I was saying, my job is to make sure that the messages come from spirit, that I translate them the best possible way. It's not to say, oh, she has 10 questions and we have to check all these questions off. Spirit gives you what you need, not necessarily what you think you need. So to find a reputable medium, ask friends and family. Do your research. Watch them on YouTube or their lives if they post anything like that. Make an appointment. Check it out. Maybe have a friend go with you. Maybe what you want to do is go to, if they offer group and gallery readings or gatherings, go to one of those first and just see how it feels. If you feel the nudge, Spirit may be knocking on your door to say, go ahead, go ahead. My suggestion to you is if you go to a medium or a psychic and they say that there's death all around you, they're not, to me, they're not giving you the information for your highest and best good. I'm not the medium that says there's death all around you and you're going to be dead in 10 days. Don't do health and wellness unless Spirit brings it up. I'm also not the one that says, oh, you need to book 5 sessions with me so that we can get rid of whatever's going on. Be leery of those who do that. How often should you book? You know what? You will know. Seeing a medium is not a replacement for grief. So you can't see a medium once a week, even once a month, even once every 3 months, unless someone else has passed that you're trying to connect with. I generally tell my clients, you'll know when you need another reading. You'll get that nudge. I would wait 6 to 8 months at the least. Most recommended. Wait about a year and then check my schedule and see what's available. The right appointment will be available when it needs to be available. So it's giving you information to help the healing process start. That isn't necessarily going to heal grief. So I've given you some information about that. Oh, goodness. So I wanted to just explain something else to you. There we go. There it is. Hello. Hold on. I lost my, there I am. So I wanted to kind of explain to you as well that when I do a reading for you, when you schedule a reading with me, why is this being honoring? You will go on my website, look for the availability, schedule. Yes, you prepay. This lets me know you're going to show up. I have had several readings when I first started that people just wouldn't show up and they're, oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry. So my session with you does not start the moment you walk through the door. My session with you actually starts about a half hour before you even come in because I am meditating on your name. I am connecting with your energy, connecting with your spirit, and asking your guides and my guides to come forward so that I can give you the most loving message possible. So you go on my website, you book your appointment. If you can't find an appointment there, yes, email me. We'll figure something out. When you schedule with me, I've got several different appointments. I do one-on-ones, which are face-to-face or over Zoom. Could be just you and I. Maybe there's 2 of you. Maybe there's 3. And then there's intimate group readings that are 10 people or less. You may host one at your home where I come directly to you, depending on where you live. And then there are gatherings or group readings that are 15 people and more. This could be at a theater, this could be at a restaurant, anywhere that will hold a larger amount of people. And during this gallery reading, not everyone receives a reading. It's a gathering of energy of people that are holding space for spirit to come through to offer the messages that need to be given. But what I can say to you is if you go to a gathering, if you go to a gallery reading, even though you may not receive a message, you're going to receive something that's going to click with you. Intimate group readings, everyone receives a message. One-on-ones, you receive a message. So I'm trying to like think where I haven't gone yet. So that's it. So what I do when you schedule a reading with me, a half hour before you come in, I meditate on your name. I call your angels in and your guides, and I ask for a message of what your energy needs to hear, and then I pull a medicine card. So if the medicine card is the prairie dog and it's upside down, just for instance, it's telling me that you have no out. When you think about a prairie dog in the wild, there's all these holes that they tunnel so that they can get away. So if it's upside down, it lets me know you've backed yourself in a corner, you're doing too much stuff. And there's going to be more that comes with that, but that would be the main gist of it. And then I continue to meditate on your name, and I'll write down whatever comes to me. And I don't want to say that spirit always shows up before you do, but I can start to feel the energy moving into the room before you come in. And sometimes I might receive a message before, but I'm not going to give it to you as soon as you come in. I may just jot it down, and then I might come back to it later. And then when you come into my room, I want to make sure that you're comfortable. I ask if you've ever had a reading before. I want to be sure that you are looking for a mediumship reading, connecting with those on the other side, and not just a psychic reading, what's going on around your energy. And then I set my intention, which lets you know who I am. It's my light switch on to spirit. So it tells you that I channel spirit for your good, for my good, for our higher good. So that lets you know I'm not going to give you negative information. It's one of those things where my prayer is always that God and spirit and angels bring in the most loving message that you need to help yourself heal. And it's not always what you think you need. Believe me. Know that your loved ones are not angry with you. They don't have the same human emotions that we do. I let you know that I kind of have directionals so that I can decipher if it's spirit or if it's angels. Those who've walked this earth come to my right, angelic comes through my left. So I know where the messages are coming. I've been doing this so long now, I could probably decipher without doing that, but it's just kind of a habit. That's how they come in. That's not for all mediums. That's just how I have it set up. I'm not going to argue with them. So the message that they give to me, I'm going to offer to you. If you can't take it, that's fine. And I've had clients say, oh, well, maybe. It's either a yes or a no. If it feels like it's a maybe, let me go back and get more information and see if that resonates with you. Because I don't want to offer you false information if it doesn't click with you. And there are times I've had clients come in and I'll give them information and they say, no, I don't understand that. And their friend beside them goes, I understand it. So I might go, what do you understand? And then they may remind their friend this and this and this. Oh my God, never even thought about that. Or the message is for the friend. And that's why if you bring someone with you into a reading, I need their information as well. Just their name or that they're coming and that they're also receiving a reading. Worst case scenario, you come to me prepared for a reading. Your friend wants to come in. They don't want a reading, but guess what? Spirit wants to give them the whole reading. So if I set up and I'm prepared for two people, Spirit knows, here we go. After I set my intentions, I explain the medicine cards to you. I do an angel card reading. It just tells me, gives me guidance about you, around you. And then your loved ones come in, and I will give you 2 or 3 pieces of information to identify who we have. If it makes sense, we're good to go. If it doesn't, I go back and I get more information. I will write down or tell you certain things. If it's not completely making sense, I may start to write it down so that I can kind of visually see it and audibly hear it. And if it still isn't, if I can't follow the breadcrumbs, I might say to you, here's what I'm hearing and here's what I've written down. Does this make sense to you? Yeah, it makes sense. Awesome. It doesn't need to make sense to me. Readings can be difficult, they're emotional, but know that sometimes those emotions need to come to surface to help healing process start. Of course, no guarantees. No guarantees who's going to come through. None at all. I was in a group reading a couple weeks ago, and a male figure came through for a woman. I'm like, oh, he says you weren't expecting him. And she was like, no, wouldn't want him. I was looking for this one. And it was funny the way she said it because she was like, of course, now he's going to show up for me. He never showed up before. So there was some healing that needed to come through. And I had already said, before she even said that I had this person. He's offering an apology for not being emotionally available, and he passed of the heart or whatever the situation was. Does that make sense to you? Yep, he had a heart attack. Of course, he would show up now. So the message already got through. He was apologizing. He was showing up. Okay. Um, I try to allow you the grace to breathe through the reading. Sometimes messages come very quickly. And we've all been, or if you've ever been to a medium, or we've seen mediums that speak very quickly, they channel very quickly. And spirit does come through fast sometimes. And there are times when I'll catch myself and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm talking. Am I talking really fast? Okay, hold on a second. And I slow spirit down because their energy is so great and they have so much that they want to say. I don't realize how fast I'm going, but I want to slow down. Most readings, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, or I'm sorry, to an hour and 15 minutes. I can do 30-minute readings, 20-minute readings. There's either no, if it's mediumship, there would be no psychic part. If it's psychic, there would be no mediumship part. The only excuse would be if they barge in during it and we just kind of go with it. But a reading can be such a blessing for those who are wondering, for those who are grieving. Picture it being helpful to some people, but also know it's not helpful for others. I have clients who say, so and so, she just needs such a reading. She's having such a hard time. Have you talked to her about having a reading? She says she's not having one, but I'm really pushing her to have one. Do not push her. It's not time, or it's not the thing for her. Try not to push someone into a reading. I had a man come to um, I don't know if it was a gathering where it was like 30 people or if it was an intimate group reading, that his wife had bought him a ticket to this and he didn't know what a reading was. He thought I was going to read a book. Surprise. He went happy. So it's allowing yourself to receive the blessing if it's for you and not forcing it onto someone else. So things may fluctuate. You get different opinions, you get different messages. But if you go to several mediums, and I don't suggest that, like right in a row, but if you see 3 or 4 mediums kind of back to back, and they're all telling you the same thing, guess what? How do they know? They don't call each other on the phone because they don't know where you're going. I'm not looking you up on Facebook. I don't have time. I'm sure there are people out there that do that, But if you are looking for a medium with integrity that you've researched, that you have spoken to others about, don't worry about that stuff. Go in open minded with an open heart, knowing that you're going to receive a blessing. But it's not for everyone. If you feel drawn, if you feel a pull to either have a one on one, go to a group reading, go to a gathering, go to my website and look at the events. And if you feel drawn, click the button, set an appointment. I don't do readings for family and friends, close family and friends, because I know too much. So if you are a close family member or a close friend and you're looking for a reading, I have plenty of people I can send you to that I trust. So the next step, if you're curious about connecting to your loved ones on the other side, if you're curious about exploring mediumship for guidance or comfort, schedule an appointment. Join one of our classes. There's a signs and symbol class. There's a meditation class. Again, go to the website. Check it out. But if you're interested in scheduling, click the link. Check me out. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. I hope this kind of explained to you what to expect in a mediumship reading, how to find a reputable medium, what I do, or um, how I prepare for a reading and do a reading. But you need to set your heart to live the life you love and love the life you live. Whether it's through a mediumship reading that can help heal you, or not a mediumship reading, because that won't help heal you. What you feel is the best thing. Your nudge, your energy, your spirit will tell you. All right, guys, I will see you next Tuesday at 10:30. It's going to be April. Spring. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Peace out. I love you so much. I hope this wasn't confusing. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.